Hello, Ian Anderson Gray here. This is episode 62. I'm going to be talking about how to use Facebook Live Producer in this show. So thank you so much for popping onto the replay. This is a regular show. It's also a podcast. You can find out more about the podcast at iag.me/podcast. I'm just going to switch on my podcast recording. That's the one thing I forgot to do. There's always something. And actually, it's been a couple of weeks since I last went live. So it just takes a little bit of time to get used to things. Let's also put in the comments. There we go. I can monitor comments. So yes, this is exciting. I'm actually using a slightly new setup today. This is really exciting. I've managed to solve a few of my Mac issues because I was having some real problems with my computer. It was slowing down, and actually I was really struggling to do a lot of stuff. But I'm using Ecamm Live as my main tool, and I'm using that in conjunction with Restream to broadcast to a plethora of different content, different destinations, I mean. So I'm actually broadcasting to Twitch, VK, LinkedIn, my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Periscope, DLive, OK.ru, Acriva.tv, and also my Facebook group. So if you're watching on any of those channels, just pop a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. And of course, if you're watching the replay, then just put hashtag replay in the comments. That'd be great. Now, I'm not sure how many live viewers I'm going to get today because I've not actually scheduled this. I've just basically gone live. I'm going to be honest with you and confess that this has been a bit of a mad week. And actually, the podcast episode is going live tomorrow. So I need to do this. This is kind of very last minute because after this, I'm going to have to edit it and get it all together. But yes, today talking about how to use Facebook Live Producer. So I wonder whether you've used that before. Anyway, enough of me gibbering. I think it's time to get on with the main show. So I'll be with you just after this.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, Ian Anderson Gray here. This is the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is where I help you level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of Confident Live Video. This is episode 62. This is a live show, but also a podcast. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast or checked it out, all you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast. And today's show notes will be at iag.me/62. I'm going to be talking about how to use Facebook Live Producer. I wonder whether you've heard of that. And if you're watching live or the replay, just pop in the comments whether you have heard of that or whether you've used it before. And I would also love to know where in the world you're watching from, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or one of these other channels, and also where you are located in the world. So I can see I've got some lovely people watching live. We've got Amanda Brown saying it got 3 notifications on my phone. So I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe... I don't know quite why you got 3, but that's great. It's great that you're here. And Jason McComb is here as well, watching on LinkedIn, saying hello. So great to see you guys. Yeah, well, it's time to bring in my first sponsor. So let's do this. See if the tech's going to work. It is. That's fabulous. So my first sponsor is Restream. Restream.io is the website. And I love Restream. It's what I use every week to multi-stream my broadcasts to a plethora of different content. I think I said before, I'm broadcasting to VK, OK, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch. Need I go on? There's loads of channels. And you know, sometimes it's a great idea to play around with these different channels to see whether you have an audience out there that could be interested in your content. In fact, today I'm also broadcasting to the South Korean network. I think it's called Africa TV. So I'm playing around with that. So there we go. Anyway, so Restream is the complete multi-streaming suite for entrepreneurs. It allows you to stream live to over 30 different destinations all at once. It allows you to use a third-party tool like Ecamm Live or OBS Studio, or with Restream Studio, you can now stream professionally from your browser. So it's really, really easy. You don't need to have any fancy tools. You just select your webcam from your browser and your microphone, and you can have up to 9 guests. You can have up to 10 people on your stream and add things like logos and branding and all that kind of cool stuff. So definitely check that out. As I mentioned, you can broadcast to all these different destinations as well. And I think one of the killer features of Restream, which I love, and this works with if your third-party app like Ecamm Live supports this, you can actually bring in the comments from all these different channels onto you can actually highlight them on the screen and monitor them. But also in the studio, it allows you to do that too. So you can highlight those. And I will be doing that throughout the show. So the multi-stream part is awesome. The chat feature is amazing. You can also do things like stream your pre-recorded videos your live. So if you're a little bit nervous and you want to just stream your pre-recorded videos live, you can do that as well. And the analytics feature is amazing. This is something that is so important. You know, which bit of your video was the most watched part? Did you become really boring halfway through and you lost loads of visits, loads of viewers? Then you can see whether that happens. So definitely check that out. And I thank Restream for sponsoring the show. You can find out more at iag.me/Restream. You get some special credits when you sign up via that link. That's iag.me/Restream. Thanks so much. Fab. Right. Well, Amanda says, yes, she got one notification from YouTube, one from Facebook, and one from LinkedIn. Yeah. Well, there we go. Well, you know, encourage you to come on, which is wonderful. We've got somebody watching on my group. I can't see who you are, unfortunately, but you say hola, which is great. Let me know if you're watching in my Facebook group. Just let me know who you are. That would be great. So, Facebook Live Producer. Facebook Live Producer is a relatively new tool, a new feature that Facebook have added to their live toolbox. And they've had a similar thing for a while. I put a button on my... I had an article on, in fact I still do, on OBS Studio, and I put a button on there that allowed people to broadcast from OBS to Facebook, and it integrated with the predecessor of Facebook Live Producer. And so it gave you things like stream keys and all this kind of stuff. But it was a bit scary. The new Facebook Live Producer is a little bit more cuddly. It's easier to use. But why would you want to use it? Well, this is the next level. If you're starting to broadcast from your phone and you're wanting to maybe broadcast from your computer and use different tools, then Facebook Live Producer allows you to broadcast directly from the Facebook website using your webcam. A very simple version, but it allows you to do that. Also, it allows you to create Facebook Live broadcasts as well. And even if you use the third-party tool like Ecamm Live, Restream, or whatever, you still may want to use it because there's some hidden settings in Facebook Live Producer that you may not know of. And you can do cool things like adding polls and things like that. So I'm going to share my screen. Is this going to work? It is! Fantastic. So this is Facebook Live Producer here. Hopefully you can see this okay. And I'm going to take you through all those different things here. I've got a comment from DLive, a DLive team. That's very exciting. I think this is probably because it's my first broadcast, which is great. Oh, and Jason says, nice haircut. Yes, finally. So if you're watching this in the future or listening to this, and of course, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you will not see the glories of my new haircut. But I have been waiting quite a long time for this. It was basically mid to late February when I last had it cut. And on Tuesday, in fact, I had my hair cut for the first time because of the lockdown, which is awesome. David Trott says, does Zoom work with the new Facebook Live Producer yet? Or do we have to stream Zoom calls as a custom service? Really interesting question. Well, as far as I know, you can use Facebook Live Producer. So even if you set this up as a separate stream, like using RTMP, I'll talk about all these things in a minute, or whether you connect directly, you can always go back and amend things. So currently at the moment, what you're seeing is this is me able to create a new Facebook Live. So I'll talk about how you can create a new Facebook Live, but also how you can go in and edit a current stream or a previously scheduled stream as well. So let's talk about that. Melanie Boylan is here. Great to see you, Melanie. Hope you're doing well. So let's do this. Let me just get back to my screen so I can show you this. So you first of all, if you don't know where to go, there's a very easy link for this. It's facebook.com/live. Follow, can't say my words. I'll start again. Facebook.com/live/producer. And if you go there, you'll have basically very similar to what I've got here. So you've got the option to go live now. You can also schedule a live video, and there's some other features there. So let's just go through some of these things. If you wanted to create a new Facebook Live through this, let's look through those options. So the first thing that we've got here is the option to either go live or schedule a Facebook Live. So let's just click on schedule a Facebook Live. And so I can change the time. So let's say I want to go next Monday at, I want to go live at 2 o'clock. And not 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't want that. Let's just change that to PM. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to be able to see these things, but I will go through all of these things that I'm seeing on the screen, and you can always go back and watch the video. All you need to do is go to iag.me/62 for this. So I've clicked on the schedule a live video button. I've selected the time and day that I want to go live. Also, just to let you know, with Facebook Live, the minimum, the shortest amount of time you can broadcast in the future is 10 minutes. You can schedule a video 10 minutes in the future, and the maximum is a week. So you have up to 7 days for that. So that's why at the moment it's only going up to the 15th of July. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to choose the destination where you're going to go live. So currently I've got it shared to my timeline. That's on my personal profile. I'll just keep it like that for the moment, because the next option you have if you broadcast to your personal profile is you can change the privacy options. So this is really useful if, for example, you want to just share it to your friends, or if you want to do a test broadcast to only me. So currently I've got it on only me, but if I wanted to just go live publicly, I can select public there, and I'm now going to go live publicly. Anyway, I don't want to do that. I want to go live to my page. So I'm going to select the share to your timeline button. I've got a couple of options here. So I've got my timeline. I can select a page that I manage, or I can go live to a group. So I'm going to select page, and I'm going to go live to my main Ian Anderson Gray page if it decides to load. So at this point, there we go. It's just taking a little bit of time there. So I can then select the page there. Next option, I then can put in the title of the video. So this is actually hidden away unless you're watching a Facebook, you go to Facebook Watch. So either a watch party or you're watching it on the watch part of Facebook. But it's still definitely good to do this. So I'm just going to put in test video showing Facebook Live producer. And then here underneath it, you put the text. This is the description of the post. So again, I'm not going to really type very much here because this is just a test. Put some hashtags there, of course, as well underneath that. Confident Live. You've got a few other options here, depending on the kind of page that you have. I've got the option to select some emojis here. I don't know. Let's put that in there. Very exciting. And I can also do, I can raise some money. There should also be an option, but I don't see it here. There's also an option to select your emotion, how you're feeling. If you've got, what do you call it? It's a special type of page, public figure page. You can select that. But for some reason, I've not got that there. Then you've got the option to choose a series for your video. And by the way, if you've got any questions, I will get back to those very shortly. So do leave those comments if you're watching live. I will get back to you. So the series, so you can select a series. This is kind of like a playlist. If you've got a regular show, you may want to add this to your series that you've created. So I'm going to add this to my Confident Live marketing show series there. And then you've got the option to cross-post. So cross-posting is a feature that allows you to go live to partners' channels. So if you're doing some work with a partner, or maybe you've got other pages and it makes sense to go live to those pages, then you can select those there. So you can just do this. So for example, I could go live to Agora Pulse there. So I'll just save that. And you can also share to a group. So I can share this to my Confident Live Jumpstart group as well. And on a page, although you don't have the same privacy options as you do on a profile, you can still tweak that a little bit, the audience settings. So I'm going to click on audience settings. I can choose, for example, a minimum age. So maybe I want to focus this mainly on adults, so it's 18 plus. I can allow certain locations. So maybe I just wanted to do the United Kingdom. Is this going to work? Here we go, United Kingdom. And then locations listed below will not be able to see your content. So maybe there's a particular country you want to restrict to. I'm going to uncheck all of those because I don't need any of those. If you're into gaming, which I'm not really, I mean, yeah, if you're, for example, live streaming a game, you could also tag the game in there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so those are some of the features. There's actually loads more that we're going to go through as well. But I just, let me know if you've got any other comments on some of those things, because there's so many things that you can do with this. It's really, really awesome. Right, okay, let's go on to the next feature. Let's look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to go live now, because if you're going to do if you're going to choose schedule a live video, you have to use a third-party tool for that, such as Ecamm or Restream or whatever. But if you click on go live now, you've then got the option to use your camera. So I can click on use camera. I scroll up to the top, and then I can choose, I don't even know, can I choose the camera? It's not really giving me the option there to change the camera. So maybe we'll have to do this. I think you have to do this within your browser. So if you want to set up a simple broadcast, you can do it that way. You can see my camera down there at the bottom. So that's using a camera. Oh, there we go. I can set it up here. So I can choose, let's choose my Ecamm Live camera. I can also start a screen share, and I can also choose my particular microphone that I want. But I'm going to use a stream key for now, because this is going to allow me to use some third-party software, such as what David said, Zoom. So I'm going to click on that, and let's go down. So there's a couple of options here. I'm going to go here on the right. There's your live stream setup. So if you're using a tool like Restream or StreamYard, BeLive, Ecamm Live, those tools actually just allow you just to broadcast straight to Facebook without having to worry about stream keys. But it's still a good idea to know what they are, just in case you've got some issues and you need to have a backup plan. You get a stream key, stream URL, and a stream key. And some software like OBS, that's the only way to actually stream to Facebook. So you need to take a note of that and then put that in the settings, which I'll show you in a minute. Then on the left-hand side, you've got a couple of options here. So use a persistent stream key. This allows you to keep the same stream key for every single live video that you use. I wouldn't use this myself, but if you want to just keep it really easy and simple, you can check that button, and then that stream key will always remain the same for every broadcast that you do. Using a backup stream, I wouldn't recommend checking this, because if you do this, it will give you you'll lose the ability to allow Facebook to stop the stream when you stop the broadcast, when you stop broadcasting. So I wouldn't do that. But this is useful if, for example, your first connection fails, you've got a second connection there as well. So that's the backup stream. Okay, these are really cool features down here under settings, and these features will be changing over time. I know that Facebook is going to be adding some extra features, so hopefully in the future you'll see some more here. But let's click on stream here. So you've got the option here to end the live video if your stream stops. So this can be useful if you're using a tool like Restream. When you stop broadcasting, you want Facebook just to automatically end that broadcast. But as what happened to me a month ago, I had basically a power cut, and I didn't have this checked. So this allowed me to, although the stream stopped temporarily, I was able then to go back in 3 minutes later on my mobile connection and stream that way. So that's cool. You can choose which one you want there. And then you can embed your live video. You've got the option to embed your live video on your website. So if you want to restrict your video, then you might want to uncheck this, but most people will want to do that. And you can then click on the embed code to allow you to embed that on your page. And then unpublish after your live video ends. You probably don't want to have this, but there might be some situations when you want to broadcast live, and then once you finish broadcasting, you want that video to then just to disappear. So you can check that button there. Let's go to viewing. So you've now got the ability to allow people who've just joined your live video to rewind back to the beginning and look at the start. So you've got that option, but if you don't want that, if you want to force people to watch live, you can uncheck that button. And this is cool. I've got this switched on. I don't know what you think about this. I don't know how accurate it is at the moment, but you can turn on auto-generated captions. For my testing, this only works on pages and only on certain pages, but this is pretty cool. I do know of certain situations. For example, there was a church in the US that a friend of mine helps streaming with, which it was getting some words very, very badly wrong. So you might not want that. Let's go down to comments. So under comments, you've got the ability to, I suppose, moderate or restrict comments. So if you're finding that you're getting some really spammy or inappropriate comments, here's where you want to go. So for example, you can select this button here, which says only followers will be able to leave comments. You can slow comments down. Just if it's a very fast moving stream, you can slow that down. If you want to force longer discussions, you can have check the button that says discussion, which will only allow comments that have over 100 characters in them, which is pretty cool. Restricted allows forces it so that commenters must have had accounts that are at least 2 weeks old. I actually think that's a pretty good one to add, but again, it depends on what you're wanting to do there. And then finally, protected. Commenters must have followed you for at least 15 minutes. So again, that's another thing that you might want to think about there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so let me know if you've got any more questions on that. But that's so far, we've gone through all the settings on the stream setup. So it's now time to go. So hopefully you can see this. Let me just double check. Yes, I'm now on my Facebook page, and I'm going to go to and watch and look for my latest live video. So I can see here, I can see myself. I can see it says captions are working, which is good. There we go. It's really weird seeing my captions live. So there we go. I can see that. And it's then possible to edit that video, actually go into the live Facebook Live producer and actually edit that video. First of all, I'm just going to mute this tab in Chrome, mute the site. I'm going to click on the video, which is going to be, and then I'm going to pause it because this is going to be a little bit strange. Is it going to pause? I think I paused it now. Okay, so now I can click on the three dots and then click on edit video. Is this going to work? Great. So this is taking me to Facebook Live Producer for this live video that I'm actually broadcasting to at the moment. And we can do some really cool things here. So I can see the comments here on the left-hand side, which is great. So these are only comments on Facebook. I'm broadcasting to different platforms as well, but that's cool. I can also see my broadcast there on the right, which is cool. I can also look at my stream health. So let's see how healthy things are at the moment. So I can see that my live broadcast started 24 minutes ago, and I can see my stream metrics. So I've got a 5.6 megabit per second bit rate. It shows my frame rate there. It also says that my resolution's too high. Now, this is not a big issue. I'm actually broadcasting in full HD, 1920 times 1080. Although my page only supports 720p, I still have the ability to stream to that. So that warning that I see there, in my experience, can be ignored. So it says 720 max resolution, 8 hours max live duration. So that's pretty cool. So I can see all of that there. Next thing I can look at are graphics. Now this is pretty cool. So I think this is something that you'd probably want to use a third-party tool like Restream or Ecamm Live to highlight comments on the screen, kind of like what I've been doing here. So I'll just add, for example, Melanie's comment there on the screen, or David's. So David is watching on Facebook. I can also add Jason from LinkedIn. So that's taking the comments from Restream and then into Ecamm Live. But you can actually do that directly on Facebook if you want. So I can select a graphics package here. So I'm going to choose Roundy McCorners is the name of this. I'm going to click continue. And then what I can do, I can, over here, down here, I've got a graphics URL that I can copy and paste into the third-party tool that I use. So if you're using OBS Studio or Ecamm Live, you can actually add this onto your onto your uh, onto your stream very, very easily. So if I go to Ecamm Live, you won't be able to see me actually doing this, but I'm going to add an overlay. I'm going to add a widget overlay, and I'm going to add this. Now let's see if this is going to work. It may not work. Fill entire frame, add widget. Okay, so what I can now do says select a color scheme. I'm going to do cheesecake is the option. And then on the left here, I see the comments, so I can see Amanda's comment here. Let's just see if this is going to work. So I can click on those three dots, and then I've got the option to publish to graphics. So I'm going to select that. And that supposedly has published on the screen. So I don't know. This will take about 10 seconds to add because of the delay between me streaming and you watching this. But hopefully in about 10 seconds, it will appear. There we go. I can see it now, which is really, really cool. So I can then unpublish that. So I'm going to unpublish that now. So if you want to use graphics directly within Facebook Live Producer, if you want to use, comments and highlight them on the screen, you can do that. And of course, you've also got the ability for comment moderation as well. So all the options that you saw on the previous screen, you can select there as well. Cool. Let's go to video clipping. Video clipping allows you to create a clip from the last 60 seconds of your live video. So if you want to create a nice, quick and easy clip that highlights your Facebook Live, you can do that here. So why don't I just do that? I've never actually done this before. Facebook Live Producer clip. Okay, click creating clip. So obviously I've not finished the broadcast, but it seems to be doing something there. Anyway, right, let's go on to the bit that I'm particularly excited about. So this gives you the ability to display a poll. And this feature is not available in any other third-party tool out there because this is baked into Facebook and this will appear on whether people are watching on a smartphone or on desktop. So this allows you to create a bit of interactivity. So I'm going to put in here I'm going to ask a question here. What is your favorite fruit? Okay, so is it bananas, apples, or raspberries? Now, you might not like any of those, I don't know, but let's just save that. So that's now added to my polls. And of course, you can do this ahead of time, but I'm now going to publish this on my live stream. So in about 10 seconds, you should see this. I've published that. And you can see on the screen the different options, and I will be able to see in real time what people are seeing here. So there we go. I can see Irene is here. Hi, Irene. So you're watching on LinkedIn. We're talking about Facebook Live Producer here. So let's see if this comes up. Now, just to let you know, if you're watching on a channel other than Facebook, you won't see these poll options. This is only for Facebook. So if you want to see this on Facebook, if you want to interact with a poll, quickly go over to facebook.com/IAGDOTME/live and you'll be able to see that. So let's just do that now. In fact, let me just see if I can interact with this. That'd be quite cool. Live. Let's just go to iag.me/live and then I can interact with it as well. And hopefully we can get a few more comments, a few more on the poll. So this is really cool. This creates a little bit more interactivity, and if you've got a lot of people watching, you can do a lot of you can actually actually highlight this on the screen, which is great. Now, is that actually showing? Let's have a quick look. Publish poll. Oh, it says not published. Let's publish it now. Sorry about that. Right, here we go. So it would help if I actually clicked on publish. So it's currently saying 0% for everyone. This is going to appear in about 10 seconds, I think. Let's just go back to here and hopefully I'll be able to see this in about 5 or 10 seconds. So let's have a look. So it should appear at the bottom of the screen. It should give me the option. And this will also work on your smartphone as well. So there we go. I can see it right at the bottom. What is your favorite fruit? Bananas, apples, raspberries. I don't know. I think I'm going to choose raspberries. So there we go. I've selected raspberry. Thank you, Melanie. Yes, Melanie says it is now published. So yeah, if you can just put your put what you think there. So I think I've got 3 people who have said raspberries, which is awesome. So I'll leave that up for a few more seconds. So oh my goodness, this is so exciting. I actually haven't done one of these in ages. So we've got some more people liking apples. So 1 person liking apples, 3 liking raspberries. Probably not the most exciting question here. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna now show those results on the poll on the live. So let's have a look. That should, in about 5-10 seconds, it should now show. Let's see what happens. So it's asking. So Amanda's voted, Melanie's voted as well. That's fantastic. So let's see if it's going to work. Add to graphics. Do I need to add that to my graphics? Publish poll graphic. Is this going to work? There we go. Yeah, we can see it. So yeah, we can see that 75% preferred raspberries, 25% like apples. So there we go. That's great. So I'm going to unpublish that. I'm going to close the results. And there we go. So we can add some more polls as well. So I'm going to move on to a few more extra things. But before I do, it's time to talk about my next sponsor, which is, of course, the awesome Content 10X. Content 10X have been sponsoring my show right back to the early days. They are awesome. Amy Woods is the founder of Content 10X, and I love her to bits. She's great. So I suppose my question to you is, do you want to find more ways to create content? You won't after you've met the team at Content 10X. And I highly recommend checking out all their different platforms they're on. They've got a book, the Content 10X book. They've got a blog. They've got a podcast. They've also got an amazing toolkit as well. So all you need to do is go to content10x.com. They are a specialist content repurposing agency. They can take that one live stream that you've created, or it could be a blog post or a podcast, a video, and they can explode it into a plethora of new platform-specific on-brand content. And if they don't do it all for you in their service, they can, of course, teach you how to do it yourself. So you don't have to necessarily hire them. You can learn how to do this yourself. They're so smart, responsive, creative, and effective, and I know that firsthand because they help me in my content. So if you want to take the stress out of content marketing, Content 10X are the people you want to go to. All you need to do is go to content10x.com. Do say that you found out about them through me. That would be really, really awesome. But content10x.com. Fab. Great. So Melanie says, this is dead handy. And Jason also says, this is so cool. Popped over to LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, I assume you mean. Yeah, so this unfortunately only works on Facebook. But since we're talking about Facebook Live Producer today, this is still cool. And I don't think it really matters if you're multicasting. You can always say, as I'm doing today, if you're watching on Facebook, you can do this quiz. But if you're watching on other channels, just pop your answer to your question to the poll in the comments. You can do it that way. And then you can get it's not as scientific, obviously, if you do that, but it's still pretty cool. Okay, where are we? Let's go back to Facebook Live Producer. So this is awesome. We can add some more polls there. Let's go on to questions. So questions. I probably wouldn't use this feature, particularly if you're using a third-party tool, because you can highlight comments. So you can highlight a question on the screen. So for example, I can do this in Ecamm Live. I can do this. So let's just type in this is a question I'm going to put, and you should now be able to see this on the screen. So there we go. You can see that on the screen. So I've been able to highlight this on this piece of text, which says this is a question, which is quite ironic because it obviously isn't a question, but then you get the idea. So I can get rid of that. But if you don't want to use any fancy tools, you can add the questions here. So let's do this. Are you going to use, if I can type, use Facebook Live Producer? Is that working? I'm not even sure whether, oh, there we go. There is a question mark there. So let's save and publish that. So hopefully that's going to appear on the screen in, again, about 10 seconds. And this should appear on the top right of the screen. So I'm just going to go back to watching this. You should see this on the top right of your screen. I'm not quite sure where that appears if you're watching it on smartphone, but then this gives you the ability to answer that question, and then I can see those in my dashboard. So if you're watching live, if you wouldn't mind just putting your answer in there, so I can actually see here, are you going to use Facebook Live Producer? I'm going to add in, oh yes, I so am, and I can send that. So if you're watching this, if you wouldn't mind, that'd be really great. So I'm going to just close that down. And I can go back to my Facebook Live Producer dashboard here. So, sort questions. Has that actually done anything? Maybe it just takes a bit of time to come through. So hopefully the answers to people's questions will appear here on the left-hand side. Oh, here we go. I need to actually click on the are you going to live Facebook Live Producer? So this is pretty cool. So I can see here, oh yes, I so am. Jason says, yes, indeed. Melanie says, yes, I am. Now I have more of a clue. So I can just then display these as a graphic. So I can select my one there. That will appear on the screen. Not quite sure how it will appear on the screen. Let's have a look. I'm going to now put on Jason's. Let's just display your graphic now. So if maybe you can tell me how this appears on the screen, because I'm not entirely sure. And then finally, I'm going to display Melanie's as well. So again, there's a bit of a delay. So maybe I have to click on that. No. Do I need to do anything else? It says remove graphic. I think the graphic should be there. Is it there? Let me know. If you can see the graphic, just pop it in the comments. There seems to be some technical issue here. I don't know. But that's what's supposed to happen. You're able to publish people's answers to your questions very, very easily there. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to be working. Annoying. Never mind. Anyway, let's remove that. Close the card. You can play around with this. What I have found is that Facebook Live Producer can be a little bit buggy. So thankfully, there is a help feature here. So what you can do here is leave some feedback on Live Producer, and I would definitely do that. One thing that I've found is if I go back to Stream Setup, now I don't think I can do anything. Can I do anything here? I've got currently live, Stream Health. I don't think I can actually, oh, here we go. I can actually change things. So if I click on the little pencil icon on the top left, I can edit the post actually, even though I've already done it. So I'm going to, I see I've actually put the title there twice, which was a mistake. So I found it's a very strange bug, but if I can tag people at the start. So if I just put in Mary Smith, let's see if it's going to add. No, it doesn't do that. Let's put in Agora Pulse. No, so it's not allowing me to tag. That's really interesting. Let's see if it's allowing me to tag right at the start, because what I found is that this can sometimes be buggy. There we go. Yeah, so I can actually add a tag at the start. I can mention another page. Let's see if I can put in Mary Smith here. Yeah, Mary Smith appears there. But if I go further down, so if I put it just under the title and I start putting the @ symbol, oh, it's working there as well. Okay. So it's just a little bit buggy, but if I found it, if I did it down here, right at the bottom, this is being really annoying. Come on. Let's put it down there. Yeah, so for some reason it doesn't work if you tag somebody further down. But the way to do that is just to copy and paste around it. So that's what you would do there. I think that is pretty much all I need to share with you. Just one other thing, you can, if you are doing a lot of live videos, then you do want to make sure that you show a live tab on your page. So at the bottom on Stream Setup, you've got this little thing to check, which is show live tab on your page. So my live tab is facebook.com/iag.me/live. And you can give people that. And of course, you can also give the URL for this particular live video too, which is really cool. So there we go. I'm going to go back to this, and I think I probably mentioned everything that I want to say. So apart from the fact that we've got some lovely comments here, Melanie says, what does she say? So Melanie says, I scheduled a live last week, first time in a long time, and it counted down and stopped. Hence me being here. That's odd. So yeah, I would be interested, Melanie, to know what software you were using for that. And were you going live directly through Facebook on your phone or on your computer? Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. It could be connectivity problems. What's your internet speed like? Is your internet fluctuating a bit? I don't know. Let me know about that. Irene says, hey. And Melanie says there immediately. So I don't know whether you mean the question. Did you see that the question on the answer on the screen? Yeah, and Jason says nothing up at the moment. So I'm going to have to play around with that. It's actually, by Facebook standards, Facebook Live Producer is actually remarkably robust, and it's definitely worth checking out. But there are still a few bugs, and I think, yeah, it's worth letting Facebook know about those. I mean, I think Facebook does actually read these. You won't necessarily get everything up at the time, but definitely check that out. Melanie says that she just used Facebook on your laptop. So it should work, but maybe just check your speed. I always recommend checking speedtest.net before you go live. Check your upload speed. As long as you're above 3 or 4 megabits per second, then you should be absolutely fine. So definitely check that out. But there are some third-party tools out there that are really worth checking out. There's Restream Studio is awesome, and I'm really impressed with that. And if you're a Mac user, there's Ecamm Live. If you're a PC user, then the likes of Restream Studio or StreamYard or BeLive, they're all pretty good. And there are other ones. There's more complicated ones like vMix and Wirecast and OBS as well. So, yeah. Melanie says fiber connectivity, so it should be absolutely fine. Jason, thanks for the info. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Melanie says the question was immediately up, so it did seem to work, but maybe it didn't work for everyone. Question from Jason, who says, do you know there is a new Facebook browser view now? Came up yesterday. So are you talking about the new look, the Facebook new look? This has been rolling. If that's the case, this is being rolled out to everyone slowly. So I know that it is country dependent, but also it's not just that. It just depends on what group you're in. I still haven't got the new look on Facebook. I don't know. I'm not actually particularly overly excited by this, but most people I've spoken to hate it, but most people hate change. So I don't know. So Jason, do you have it? What do you think? If so, let me know. That'd be good. But I think that is it. I think I've gone on long enough. I hope you found that interesting. Do check out my podcast at iag.me/podcast. And as I said, today's show notes will be at iag.me/62. Jason says, yes, I am. And Melanie says, the new look looks comical. So I can't wait for the new look of Facebook. But until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.